So hello everyone, my name is Danica Mojedo, and for this video, I will be going to discuss what is using the project-based learning multimedia as a teaching learning strategy. So to begin, a project-based learning method is a comprehensive approach in teaching, while the project-based multimedia learning is a method of teaching in which students acquire new knowledge and skills in the course of designing, planning, and producing a multimedia product. So, a project-based teaching strategy helps the students work on a project over an extended period of time. So this can be from a week up to a semester. That engages them in solving a real-world problem or answering a complex question. They demonstrate their knowledge and skills by creating a public product or presentation for a real audience.
So, why do we have to use the project-based teaching as a strategy? Well, the project-based learning can enhance their communication skills. They will also have a 21st century life skills which they can use in everyday living. It can also improve student collaboration, which they can also build a camaraderie to their co-students. And the most importantly, the project-based teaching strategy improves student engagement, which the student will not be bored at school and they can continue their task at the given time.
So, an example of this is allowing your students to work together to create a mural about climate change. So when we say mural, it is a large painting or a visual art form. So in this case, they will work together to conceptualize the mural, design it, plan it, and then paint it. As a result, students develop deep content knowledge as well as critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication skills. So, a project-based learning unleashes a contagious and a creative energy among students and teachers. So to continue, there are 5 steps in making the project-based multimedia as a teaching learning strategy. First of this is assign collaborative working groups. Second is present a real-world problem that students can connect or relate. And the third is setting of parameters for completing the project, which is you will set at least a week or the whole semester to complete their project. And fourth is teacher consultation input or feedback. And lastly is the final product, which is shared with larger group of people or which is the real audience. So thank you so much for listening, and that will be all for my part.
The effective use of multimedia learning project requires clarifying goals and objectives, determining how much time is needed, extent of students' involvement in decision making, setting up forms of collaboration, identifying and determining what resources are needed, determining how much time is needed. The most accurate way of estimating how long it takes to perform a task is performing it several times until you find an average value. However, some alternative ways of doing so. Time estimation is a very important part of any task management process. So clarifying your goals enables you to set a direction for your future. You have a target to aim at and a destination to move towards. Instead of meandering through life, you can avoid mediocrity and make real progress toward what is important to you. Once you know where you are going, it is easier to start. So extent of students' involvement in decision making. Learning decision making skills to make their own choices helps children or students be more independent, responsible, and confident. It gives them a sense of control over their lives, reducing anxiety and promoting resilience. Furthermore, it encourages self-exploration and helps them to solidify their values. So, setting up forms of collaboration. Setting up forms and collaboration improves the way your team works together and problem solves. This leads to more innovation, efficient processes, increased success, and improved communication. Identifying and determining what resources are needed. Identifying resources is the process of evaluating which funding streams and resources are accessible to support the goals. And objectives of the system, project, or initiative. A fiscal analysis study can help find and evaluate the usefulness of current and potential resources.
So, hello everyone, good day. I am Angeline Nandagan and I will be tackling about another important thing is to determine the resources available from library materials, community resources, both materials and humans, internet, and news media. So, library materials. So, I have just provided the definition in the video. So, just please read that. So, library materials can be used in maybe research or your project that is beneficial for the project-based learning. So, community resources, both materials and humans. So, community resources are useful in PBL or project-based learning because you can make interviews from actual people. So, internet. Well, internet is very common where we can just browse and get a lot of information as well as pictures and videos that are beneficial. But we should warn our students about the unreliable resources that maybe they can encounter. So, news media. Well, news media are also very helpful since we can make sure that the information being obtained by the students are from reliable resources. So, that would be all for my part. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Robert Francis Bihumapit and I am tasked to report Simpkins' suggestion for trimming down time devoted to a multimedia project. So the first one is use technology students already know. Second, use time outside of class wherever possible. Third, assign skills practice as homework. Fourth, use special classes as extra time. Lastly, let students compose text. Use technology students already know. So instead of introducing new software or tools, use technology that students are familiar with like Google, Microsoft Offices, and Adobe Reader. So this will save time as students won't have to spend time learning how to use new tools. Use time outside class whenever possible. You can assign tasks that can be completed outside of class time, such as research or gathering resources. This will free up valuable class time for more hands-on work. Assign skill practices as homework. Instead of spending class time on basic skill practice, assign this as an homework. This will ensure that students have the necessary skills before starting the project and will save time in class. Use special classes as extra time. If possible, use special classes such as study halls or after-school sessions as extra time for students to work on the project. This will provide students with additional time to work on the project without taking away from regular class time. Lastly, let students compose text. Allow students to compose their own text for the project instead of providing them with a pre-written text. This will save time and allow students to personalize their project with their own interests and experience. Following the suggestions, Simpkins argue that teachers can trim down time spent on a multimedia project while still ensuring that students perceive a quality learning experience. That's all for my part. Thank you.
So, good morning everyone. This is John Vincent Viroy and my report task is all about various phases of the project before the project starts. Number 1. Create project description and milestones. Put it in a nutshell what your project is all about. Describe your project in 40 words or less. Include your instructional goals and objectives. Include the project components students will be responsible for under due date. Set deadline by writing a brief abstract of your project. You have a full grasp of the essence of your project and that your focus will not get derailed. The second one is work with a real world connection. So if you have people outside the classroom involved as clients or assessors or evaluators, work with them to make an appropriate schedule and include their ideas for activities. So work with the real world have also the advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages are students feel when they have personally achieved more when real-world connections were made in the classroom. The second one is learning memorable and less abstract. Students learn subject matter more deeply and can recall it better. They become interested and motivated to learn. Incorporating real-world connections can tap into many different learning styles. And lastly, minority students are more engaged You can do projects and discussions that relate to their cultures and community. So the disadvantages are there are only few. Teachers need to be creative in their lesson planning, and the requirements of the state curriculum sometimes does not allow the time for larger projects. And lastly, resources are limited. The third one and the last part of my topic is all about and the third one is prepare resources. Seek the assistance of your librarian or school media specialist. Libraries are community hubs. They connect people to information and connect people to people. They are safe havens for kids, providing after school homework help, games, and book clubs. They offer computer classes, allowing older adults to stay engaged in a digital world. So that's it for my part, and thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Anda Claris, and I will be reporting the continuation of the report of Mr. Viroy, which is the various phases of project before the project starts. So now, let's proceed to the number 4. Prepare software and peripherals such as microphones. So in this, you can ask the help of technical people. Number 5, organize computer files. Finding files eats most of your time if you are not organized. Naming files and folders after their file type and section title helps to keep things organized and makes it easier to merge elements later on. So the last one is prepare the classroom. Organize books, printer, papers, and any other resources so students can access them independently. Make room on the bulletin boards for hanging printouts of student work, schedules, and organizational charts. In conclusion, in using the project-based learning multimedia as a teaching learning strategy, the teacher must have a plan on how to evaluate his learners. He must have also a systematic plan for his lessons to his students so that the lessons could be understood not only for the teacher but also to the student, as one of his focus is to give the lessons. So that would be all for our report, and thank you.